I don't know what deja vu means, but Yogi Berra did. And here we are. Once again, we're facing another deadline. It's a deadline here, it's a deadline there, but always deadlines. Management by crisis. The Republican leader seems to have no plan to meet these deadlines, especially the deadline regarding how the country is going to be funded this coming fiscal year. And as happens here in this Republican-dominated Congress, the Republican leaders in the House and the Senate don't agree. We've been calling for months now on Republicans to sit down and start negotiating with us. It's important that be done because, as you know, we're facing sequestration, we're facing a government shutdown, and now what they're dropping back on, so, well, we may not do that, we may just give you a CR. They have stalled opting for an empty message over bipartisan negotiations. They refuse to even meet with us. There's no reason to wait longer. Let's sit down, start tomorrow, let's do it on Thursday, let's do it on Friday, let's do it. The door's open, we're ready to sit down with Republicans and begin the negotiations. They can never be ended if they don't start. For years we've lived through one manufactured crisis after another. It's time that stopped. There's no reason we need to live through another one. So it's time to stop these political games, and that's what they are, and move on to being real legislators. Senator Durbin?
On Friday, the latest temporary extension of the Highway Trust Fund expires. And once again, as the leader has said, we're facing a manufactured crisis. And now we're told that the House of Representatives has decided that the August recess should start in July, and they want to leave town. And they want to leave town before they've done anything to address this Highway Trust Fund crisis or the looming crisis over our budget and sequestration. We only have 23 days of session left after this week before the end of this fiscal year. We're running out of time. Why Speaker Boehner and Majority Leader McConnell cannot come together and have an orderly process so that we can come to a reasonable compromise on our budget, funding non-defense as well as defense spending for the next fiscal year, I just don't understand. It's time for us now to face the reality that to solve these issues, we have to do them together in a bipartisan fashion in a timely way. Waiting till the last minute, facing continuing resolutions or whatever is invented is not a way to run a government or a great country.
Senator Schumer.
Well, Republican leaders in the House and Senate are heading home for the August recess with their tails between their legs. The right wing is waging all-out war on the Republican establishment. They're even saying that Senate Democrats and Leader Reid are in charge, and they're tying the floor in knots. But unfortunately, it's the American people that are left hung out to dry. The hard right is running the Republican Party here in the House and Senate and in the presidential campaigns. And the American people don't like what they hear, and it flummoxes the Republicans. It flummoxes them on the campaign trail, and it flummoxes them here in the House and the Senate. Republicans are leaving Ex-Im shuttered for the summer. They haven't lifted a finger to prevent a government funding crisis that's just 2 short weeks away. Last week, Speaker Boehner threw in the towel on the budget appropriations process. He resigned himself to a stopgap measure already. Why? He's afraid of the right wing. And despite pleas from Hal Rogers and many others in the Republican caucus who said, let's move forward, sit down, compromise with the Democrats, and work out a good bill. We're ready to sit down. The president's ready to sit down. Where are they? They can't get out of the pretzel that they've tied themselves in because of the right wing. So we say to Speaker Boehner, it's not too late to reverse course. Tomorrow, Thursday, any time before Speaker Boehner heads back to Ohio, we're welcoming him to come over and sit down with us and to start to hammer out a bipartisan deal to ensure that middle-class programs and our military have the funding they need. We're not going to make any progress resolving this impasse until Republicans join us at the table and negotiate. We're ready to do it this week, It would be a dereliction of duty for the Republicans to skip town without making any effort to avoid the cliff that's fast approaching. When we return from the August break, we'll have 4 short weeks to reach an agreement. They know they can't just jam the appropriations bills down our throats. That's not happening. So there's one solution. Negotiate. Sit down. Talk to us. Republicans, don't play your old tricks. Don't head us towards a government shutdown. Sit down and negotiate to avoid it. Speaker Boehner, you are headed down a dead-end road. It's time to turn back, begin discussions with Democrats, figure out a path to avoid another shutdown crisis.
Senator Murray.
Well, as you know, we are just 2 months away from a completely unnecessary Republican budget crisis. Republican leaders have stayed in their partisan corners long enough. It is time for them to come out. I had hoped they had learned from their mistake they made in 2013 when they spent months refusing to negotiate with us, and they were pandering to their Tea Party base, and then they pushed our country into a government shutdown that hurt families and our economy. And when that shutdown ended, Chairman Ryan and I negotiated for 54 days on a 2-year bipartisan budget deal that rolled back the automatic budget cuts and prevented another government shutdown. That wasn't easy. It took us 54 days. Democrats and Republicans understood the only path forward in a divided government was compromise and working together. Well, the same is true today, and there is no reason to wait any longer. While Speaker Boehner seems to have thrown in the towel on Congress doing its job before the October 1st deadline, I know a whole lot of Republicans who have talked to me about the fact that they want to start now and get this done. They know the spending bills can't pass unless there is a budget agreement. They know they can't get a budget agreement without Democrats on board. And they know families across our country are expecting their elected officials to set aside partisanship, to work together and find a way to reach another budget deal. We have 65 days left. Not a lot of time, but we can do it if Republicans come out of their partisan corner and sit down and work with us.
My favorite part of the week, questions.
What do you think of this Republican effort to defund Planned Parenthood? Will it get any Democratic support?
I think that we have to understand that it is an attack on women's health, as Senator Murray so clearly outlined to our caucus today. We're dealing with the health of American women, and they're dealing with some right-wing crazy deal.
Senator Reid, Republicans say they now may want to redirect that money instead of just defunding it and redirect it to other women's groups that do health care screening.
Same answer.
That doesn't improve it at all. Do you think it might do for some Democrats?
Same answer. They're attacking women's health.
Senator Cornyn says that the proposal that they're working on in their working group with Senator Ernst and Senator Paul is designed to get 60 votes. At least that's what he told us. Is that possible?
Good luck to him. It's my understanding the short-term highway bill has in it something that is very beneficial to veterans. We have a problem. We need to move money around in the Veterans Administration. McDonald, who's trying to do a good job, has money in a place that he doesn't need right now, and he needs to put it someplace he needs it. And it's my understanding that will be in the short-term bill they send us. If that's the case, it'll move out here fairly quickly.
Thank you.
All right. Wait.